Hello, class. Today we are learning how to divide fractions, and we're going to model how we can divide fractions. Now, just so you know, dividing fractions using models can be somewhat challenging, okay? So we're going to touch on this a little bit, but as the lesson progresses, we will look for easier ways to divide fractions and eliminate the possible confusion in using models. Okay, so let's begin. First of all, we want to take a look at our lesson 8.1, divide fractions and whole numbers. Okay, so we divide and check the quotient. So now when we take a look at this, it says 2 whole divided into 1/3 or divided by 1/3. Now, what we need to be careful of is our wording when we use models. Because if we take a whole and divide it into a third, this is less than a whole. So that means we're looking for pieces. 2 whole divided into 1/3 pieces. What's the total amount of each of the pieces? And we discover is 6 because here are 2 wholes. We divide it into 3 equal parts, okay, each of the wholes from here to here. So this is divided by 3, okay? And then here a whole and divided into 3 equal parts. So we want to know how many 1/3 pieces will we have. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we say there's 6 because if we were to reverse the order, 6 times 1/3 equals 2 whole. Okay? And so we're recalling our multiplying of fractions in the previous lesson. Okay? So now, if we divide here, we reverse the order, we multiply. That's inverse order. Just like in multiplication, 2 times 4 equals 8. But if we reverse the order, 8 divided by 4 will be equal to 2. Okay? So the same concept applies with fractions, all right? So now, let's take a look. If we have 2 whole, okay, divided into 1/4 pieces, we want to know how many 1/4 pieces would we have. So let's see. If we have 2 whole divided into 1/4 pieces, here are 1/4 pieces. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we took the whole amount and divided it evenly into fourths. Okay, now I only have one set of fourths, so we know that with 1 whole we have 1, 2, 3, 4 fourths. If we have 2 whole, then we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, 6, 7, 8. So we would have 8 1/4 pieces. Okay, so let's take a look. Using the model, we have 2 whole here, here. If we divide it into 4th pieces, 1, 2, 3, 4, then 1, 2, 3, 4. How many 1/4 pieces do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8, okay? Because, remember reverse order, take our 8 times our 1/4 will give us 2. Okay? All right, let's move forward. Remember, I only do even and you do odd. Okay? So let's go to number 4. Number 4, we have 1 whole piece. Okay? Divided into 1/5 or divided by 1/5. So we want to know how many 1/5 pieces we have. And we discover that we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the answer is 5. 1 whole divided by 1/5 equals 5. Because we want to know how many 1/5s you have. Okay? So now let's take a look at this one. Here we have 1/6, which is not a whole. It's a fraction of a piece. Okay? 1/5 divided by 3 whole. Okay? So what ends up happening is if we have 1/6, I'm going to take this 1/6 here. All right? And first of all, one, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so now what that means is we take this 1/6, which is this piece right here, and divide it into 3 parts. So there we go. But we would have to do this for all of them in order to know what the one of them would be equal to. Okay, so let's go. So now we've taken a 1/6 and we've divided it into 3 equal parts. That would give us a total number of parts. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So the total number of parts is 18. So 1/6 divided into 3 whole parts will give us this little piece right here. Remember, the 1/6, this is the 1/6 divided into 3 parts. That little one piece right there. Not the whole amount. We just know what this one piece denominator we're counting by, which is 18, would give us 1/18. All right? And how do we know that? Because 1/18 times 3 whole is going to give us 1/6. Okay? All right? And that's how we know that. So let's take a look now at number 6. Here we have 4 whole, okay, divided into 1/6. So let's take 1 whole and divide it by 1/6. We know that we're going to have how many equal parts? That's right, 6 equal parts. Okay, but we have 4 groups of these 6 equal parts. And 4 groups of these 6 equal parts is going to give us how many 1/6? Yes, you got it. 24. Okay? It's going to give us 24 of these. All right? 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. 4 times 6 is 24. Okay? So that way we know that 24 times 1/6 is equal 4. Okay? Now let's take a look. We'll move on to number 8. I'll do number 8 while you do number 7. Number 8, 1/4 divided by 6. Now keep in mind, a 1/4 is less than a whole. It's a fractional part. So we need to take this and divide it by 6 whole parts. All right? And we do that for a whole one in order to know the fractional part. So let's see. Make this a little bigger, okay? A little bigger workspace here. All right. Make this whole. All right, 4 equal parts. So our 1/4, we want to divide it into 6 whole. So let's go. It'd be easier to look down here, so we're going to use this as our 1/4. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, so now we have 6 equal parts. But we would need to take each of our 1/4 pieces and put them into 6 equal parts. Okay, so that's all right. So we have 6 here, 6 here, 6 here, and 6 here. How many 6s would that be? That would be 24. But remember, we take the 1/4, just this 1/4, and if we were to put it into 6 equal parts, then that would be one of the, you guessed it, 24. So that would be 1/24, okay? And so therefore, 1/24 times 6 will be equal to 1/4, okay? All right, let's move on to number 10. On number 10, Amy can run 1/10 mile per minute. How many minutes will it take Amy to run 3 miles? So 1/10 mile per minute, okay? All right, how many, okay, so 1 minute, she runs 1/10 of a mile. 2 minutes, she runs 2/10 of a mile, okay? So now, but we want her to run 3 miles, okay? 3 miles. So if we take the 3 miles, 3 whole miles, and divide it by the 1/10, okay, we would discover that in 1 mile, it actually takes her 10 tenths, okay? That's what we discovered. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's just for 1 mile. But if she does that 3 times, that's 10, that's 20, that's 30, okay? So it would take her 30 minutes to run 3 miles, okay? All right. We want you to try your best to use models or try to understand models just a bit. It's easier going from whole to fraction. It's a little more challenging going from fraction to whole. But you can do it, and we'll talk about this shortly. Bye.